It was almost a little comedy to see him standing there, blazing in every color God created, top, pants, hat.
Debbie, I expected better from you. You, of all people, should appreciate flamboyant artistic attire. It seems a bit harsh, maybe a bit hypocritical to say that Ruben's dress sense is comedic. So, do I sense artistic jealousy here?
Ruben made me look conservative.
This one reminds me of you.
There you go.
Your nice big red lips. You're the artistic Debbie.
Yes.
On me.
And Ruben the Cuban.
Ruben made me look conservative, says the lady with a peacock handbag. Now, before we see how their date unfolds, let's rewind to the beginning. So, after her nightmare experience with Osama in Morocco, Debbie has sworn off young men. She's now on the hunt for an age-appropriate partner.
I'm going to Miami to meet my potential Mr. Somebody, Ruben the Cuban. We met on a dating site. He's 58 years old.
Now, of course, that is still a decade younger than Debbie, but it's a hell of a lot better than being 24, like Osama was. Now, at the time, we all laughed about how strange the whole situation was. But when you actually think about it, it was super creepy that she went out there. We're talking a 67-year-old lady pursuing a 24-year-old. Yeah, bit weird. But now, thankfully, Osama is a thing of the past. It's Ruben the Cuban who's in the picture now. And despite being a lot more appropriate for Debbie, Debbie's son still wants to be 100% sure.
My son Julian is almost forcing his way onto this trip. He doesn't want history to repeat itself.
Neither do we, Debbie. I mean, it's exceedingly obvious that Debbie lives in her own little world. She lives on cloud cuckoo land. So it's a huge relief that her police lieutenant's son is accompanying her to Miami, chaperoning her so she can't get in any more trouble. So the next day, the two of them fly interstate, and while the trip hasn't even started yet, Julian has already had enough of his mum.
Uh-oh, this is really real.
You need to walk on your side. You better not on me.
Okay. I haven't had a drink yet. Gee whiz.
You look like you have.
Give me a break, man.
Julian's the voice of the people. He loves his mum, that's clearly obvious from how protective he is. But he's also 100% done with her bullshit. Like, Julian's the complete opposite of his mum. He's serious and responsible. It's astonishing that these two are even related. And as they check into their hotel, Debbie still has a few hours to kill before her date. And it seems like doubt is creeping in.
But there's always that doubt in my mind that says, Morocco. Every man that has swept me off my feet has let me down.
Right, well, the bar is quite low for sweeping Debbie off her feet. In fact, the bar's pretty much on the floor. Osama was a creepy, unemployed, self-professed poet who still lived with his parents. So if he managed it, how hard could it be? Now, before she heads off for her date, Julian's got to help Mama with her outfit.
This is option number 1.
How heavy are those, just in case you have to run from her?
There ain't gonna be no running.
Hopefully Miami doesn't see her sandals slapping the sidewalk as she runs for life. Honestly, if she didn't run from this, then I don't imagine she'll be running from anything. In fact, if Ruben the Cuban isn't ready for Debbie's Debbiness, it might be him who's running, especially if she keeps on talking like a fortune cookie.
We all take many risks in life, but some of those chances are doors that open with opportunities.
Huh? I think Debbie's had that drink that she was missing at the airport. She's probably needed liquid courage because it's finally date time. Julian sends her off in a taxi, insisting that she text him every hour. Debbie dismisses him. There's no way she's gonna do that. And she heads into town to meet the infamous Ruben the Cuban.
Hi, Ruben.
Oh my God, you look beautiful.
Thank you.
Live in living color.
Oh my gosh, you're so sweet.
This is for you.
Thank
Welcome.
you.
The shirt, the glasses, the balloon and flower combo for the first date. I'll say it now. My man Ruben's got some serious style. He's showing us all how it's done. These two literally look like clowns, but it's impossible not to like them. It's impossible not to like the fact they're both living their best lives. I mean, on paper, they already seem like the perfect match, right? Right? Well, not so fast.
It was almost like a little comedy to see him standing there, blazing in every color God created, top, pants, hat.
Is Debbie seriously complaining about how brightly coloured the man's dressed? Has she looked in a mirror lately? She packed a woven peacock handbag she called Petey for this trip, for God's sake. And she's the one complaining about how flamboyant Ruben is.
Usually I'm attracted to a gentleman that is conservative yet classy.
I'm sorry, but what about this screamed classy to Debbie? This date hasn't really got off to the best start, has it? Debbie thinks, somewhat hypocritically, that Ruben's style is overkill, and it feels like she's already got the ick.
Ruben made me look conservative.
This reminds me of you.
There you
Your
go.
nice big red lips.
Yeah.
You're the artistic Debbie.
And Ruben the Cuban.
Is Ruben looking at the same lips that we are? Big red lips? I don't think so. And while it isn't exactly love at first sight for Debbie, she's not willing to give up just yet. She wants to give Ruben a proper chance. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm rooting for him. Look how smooth he is. He smoothly takes Debbie's hand as the pair begin to walk to the bar.
My first impressions of Debbie are she's fun, very eclectic like me. I love color. That's what I love about her. She's vibrant, alive, not boring.
What a contrast to how judgmental Debbie was. Ruben sees the beauty in Debbie's craziness, but for some reason, Debbie couldn't do the same for him. It's odd. I mean, we can't exactly call her superficial, can we now? But as the night goes on, Debbie manages to finally see past his yellow-tinted glasses.
I think we're definitely hitting it off. I mean, we're giggling and enjoying ourselves all night. I mean, that's a great vibe.
Now, Ruben's looking for someone to complement the fun in his life. He's looking for a best friend he can talk to about anything. In his own words, he's looking for something long-term, not just a quick hot weekend thing. And I'm just glad Debbie doesn't give off the quick hot weekend vibe.
I'm not looking just for sex. I want to make love. I'd rather take my time, be a gentleman, and just, enjoy ourselves and just build from that.
Forget Ruben the Cuban, I think he should now be called Ruben the Gentleman. I'm pretty sure if you look in a dictionary, there's a picture of this guy's face under the definition for legend. Now, thankfully, Ruben's keen to take things slow, which is just as well, considering it's been quite some time since Debbie's had sex. 14 years to be precise.
I'm so, out of practice or out of touch. We need to go into this gradually. It's like, we don't want Miss Debbie having a boom boom coronary.
I'm pretty sure if Miss Debbie has a boom boom coronary, Julian's putting Ruben the Cuban away for life. But while Debbie's reminiscing on old times, she reveals a very interesting little tidbit about her time in Morocco with Osama. Very interesting indeed.
Osama tried to have sex with me several times in Morocco before our upcoming marriage, and I told him no several times.
Debbie, how could you possibly say no to this face? Now, in all seriousness, Osama, as a Muslim man who made a pretty big deal about Debbie not being allowed to drink alcohol, really shouldn't have been trying to have sex with her out of wedlock. But enough about that creepy guy. Back to the star of the show, Ruben.
I've had a wonderful time.
Glad you're having a great time.
I've had a real long day. I just flew in. We've done so much today.
Now, although Debbie's tired and she's ready to go home, fear not, because Smooth Ruben swoops in to secure another date with her for tomorrow. They arrange for Ruben to show Debbie around Miami, and privately to the camera, Debbie reveals that she's beginning to feel sexual attraction towards Ruben, but that still doesn't mean that she wants to move too quickly.
As far as a goodnight kiss goes, I don't want him to jump the gun. You know, you gotta be careful where you jump, Miss Debbie.
There's nothing quite like Debbie's unhinged cackle to end the night. But, like everything else about her, it seems to be exactly what Ruben's looking for. I seriously have to question whether, after a very successful first date, a goodnight kiss between a 57-year-old and a 67-year-old could really be considered jumping the gun. But even if it is, Ruben doesn't give a f***.
I'm looking forward to it, Ruben.
Well, me too as well. I'm glad you came.
I'm glad to be here, Ruben.
Hey, Alexa, play Michael Jackson's Smooth Criminal, because Ruben is one smooth guy. He shoots, he scores. Any thoughts about jumping the gun have clearly left Debbie's mind as they go in for another kiss before parting ways. This guy really has game, because as Debbie's heading back to her hotel, she's floating on cloud 9.
I'm not used to getting a good night kiss or having someone be gentle and express tenderness. So I'm like, wow, I like it. I really do.
Ruben the Cuban has seriously outdone himself. He seems to be the perfect match for Debbie. So what's the catch? It almost seems too good to be true. Are we gonna discover something crazy about him? Is he already married? Does he have some skeletons in his closets? Or could this actually be a pretty damn good match?